Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to run an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a young guy. He's 20 years old. He's living over in Germany. And he's going to share his story about experiences he's had with women over the last few years, high school and college and all that. And pretty much you're going to see, well, at 20 years old, he's pretty much done. The experience has been that bad that he's pretty much just sick and tired of all the BS. And he's now focused completely on his education, his purpose and all that. And he grew up in a household where his parents had a really good marriage, and he thought that one day he could have the same thing. But he's seeing pretty much how things are nowadays with the gals that that's not going to happen. The world really has changed, all right? And now he's just focused on himself, so he wanted me to share his story and go over it. And I'm doing this, guys, for a lot of reasons, but one in particular to show you that this is from the perspective of a young guy, 20 years old, and from a different part of the world, to show you that this whole different world, different attitude is everywhere. Okay, it's not just a guy just had a bad experience with a girl and that. It's everywhere, and we all know it. And so a perfect example why many guys are just, young guys in particular, are just, they don't bother dating anymore or relationships, and they're actually focused on themselves, hanging out with their bros, their purposes and all that, and become the best they can be, which in many ways is actually a very good thing. So I'm going to go through this guy's email here, and English is not his first language, so just bear with me as I read this story. He starts off, he says, "Hey SSM, I want to share my story with you. I'm a new viewer of your channel living in Germany and just a young man, but I've experienced some crazy shit in the last 3 years. First, I want to apologize for my English and my mistakes. English is just the 4th language I've learned, and I'm still making some mistakes." Dude, you speak 4 languages? That's awesome. Don't apologize for anything. Believe me, most people in this world don't come close to speaking 4 languages, so no problem, you get a pass. And by doing this, the more practice, you'll get better. He says, I'm just 20 years old and don't have that much experience in life, but I still have my story, which is pretty messed up. He says, so growing up in an immigrant household, a conservative Muslim household in Germany, where the value of family and relationships is much higher, and most people still get married and they're very young, in their 20s. I grew up with a different and more idealistic view when it comes to love and relationships. My parents married in their late 20s in Algiers, Algeria, moving to Germany, and got me and my siblings, built up the existence together, and stayed for 27 plus years together. They stayed together during hard and good times, and so I thought this destiny will also happen to me and every guy out there. Oh God, I was so wrong and naive. So his parents have obviously been through hard times, but they stuck together. And I'm guessing that in spite of all that, they still have a good marriage. They still love each other. Okay, cool. Well, nowadays, good luck with that. I mean, the second anything goes bad, I mean, you guys, you know the stories I do. I mean, the whole in sickness and in health, for rich or for poor, you get the point. That's out the door completely. He says, when I was 12 years old, I went to the gym. He says, like high school in Germany, where this one girl was with me in my class. Let's call her Miriam. She seemed like a very shy and sweet person, and many boys liked her. So she had early guys on her side, but in a more childish and innocent way. From the age of 11 through 16, me and my self-consciousness suffered because of puberty. My looks were terrible, my skin was bad, and I had no luck with girls. Well, brother, that's pretty much most guys. Most guys can go into that category where that puberty period is very awkward, and our zits and acne, our skin is bad, and all these other things. We're growing, but again, we're the low man on the totem pole, absolutely. But we do come out on top eventually if we push ourselves in that direction. Miriam, who at this time had more and more guy friends, and also her first relationships, also rejected me, and so I moved on. So this girl has no problem getting dudes. When I became older, late 16, I had some of my looks. I started at the gym, and my martial arts and my health and skin got much better. So the girls started to show some interest. But my 6-year-old me was definitely not interested in those lads who had effed my self-love and my consciousness some years ago. Still, I showed some interest to Miriam, and she also started to reply to some of my moves. We were chatting a lot via WhatsApp and company, hung out in school, but I was just exploring my options and couldn't realize I could now flirt with the top girls. So they went from the awkward guy going through puberty, bad skin, just all of a sudden you grew into your man's body, started at the gym, training in martial arts, got a little confidence, and now all of a sudden the girls are paying attention to you, including this chick you like. That's usually how it goes. One could debate whether it was the confidence or the looks. The looks gave you confidence, you never know. He says, I mean, the whole time I wasn't that popular in school. I hated my time there, and in the gym was definitely not one of the top cool, and I was definitely not one of the top cool guys with rich parents and my own car and pool in my house. I had my 4 friends and still some possibilities of dating, but that's it. You know, dude, that kind of sounds like my high school. I hated high school. And I had my close circle of friends. We had a good time together, but I was not a social butterfly. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I mean, the day I graduated high school was definitely the top 5 best days of my life because I couldn't wait to see. I was so happy to never have to see these mother effers ever again. And every once in a while, like I would, maybe once every few years, I log into Facebook and I might see one person I'm connected with in high school, and I'll go down the rabbit's hole and look at other people from high school that I went with, and it was unbelievable how people look completely different, let themselves go, look like crap. It's amazing. And these were the quote-unquote cool kids, or the athletes. And a lot of the girls that wouldn't give me the time of day back in high school, now they look like the Goodyear blimp. You know, 50 pounds, 100 pounds bigger. The guys that were the cool guys, they're all overweight and just look like shit. People just don't take care of themselves. So I get it. It says, so I became 17 and Miriam asked me out on a date. She was seeing me flirting around and I think she became somewhat jealous and made a move. Translation, you weren't giving her attention even though she was getting attention all the time from guys, and you were talking to other girls, so, oh, I guess I want him now. She knew I would agree 100%, and yeah, so we had some dates, but just holding hands, no kissing, etc. And then suddenly she said that she couldn't do this and we should stay friends. Well, if you had a bunch of dates and you didn't make a move on her, that's kind of predictable. I got to be fair here and address that. I mean, you're 17, you didn't kiss her. She might have thought you had no confidence or didn't like her, you know, but you're going to see there's more to it than this. I was hurt but respected her request, and I thought this would be a good occasion for me to concentrate on school and my grades. I was now entering my last year of school. Then COVID hit, and we went back into several lockdowns, and then in September I came back to school. And in my classroom, I found my ex kissing and holding hands with another dude. Well, of course, she's going to find a replacement like that. He was really nice, very intelligent, but insecure. Still, I hated him. I was shocked and hurt, but didn't give it an F. It was her life and her choice, and I wouldn't start a fight for a girl like this. No. It's not worth it. It's just some chick. So they stayed together for several months, had some dramas, and then became a couple again. This went until January 2021, where she would dump the poor guy and slide into my DMs on Instagram again, saying she really loved me, how much she is sorry for hurting me, and regrets the past months, saying she had some troubles at home and needed someone, etc. So she broke up with her boyfriend. She didn't want to be alone, so she went back to what she probably considered a sure thing. That's what they do. Because a lot of women cannot, a lot of girls, and it's interesting, she's in high school, but the behavior carries on throughout life. Generally speaking, most gals can't be alone. They need to have that backup. They got to have some guy paying attention to them, taking them out. And this goes on for, and already right here in high school, you can see this. He goes on, he says, then she asked me for a relationship again. And as an idiot, I agreed. No, not a good idea, but you were young, you didn't know any better. This is how we all learn, guys, by making the mistakes when we're younger. We stayed together for 4 months and it was terrible. I knew every day how wrong it was. And she is just using me until she finds someone else. Or someone better. Yeah, well, your gut knew something was off and you should have went with your gut. You know, but again, you're young. You didn't know any better. This is how you learn. She started to plan our whole life as a couple, asked me always for more time with her. She always wanted to have more sex with me, which I couldn't do at this time. I was not feeling ready for it, and yeah. Well, that's not quite a bad thing if she wants to hook up all the time, especially if she's hot. But if for your own personal reasons you aren't ready, okay, that's your business. But again, it goes to show you guys how young guys are different nowadays. Maybe it was culture, maybe it was religion, I don't know. Then she became toxic and hostile, comparing me to her ex, threatening to leave me, using my psychological disorder, he says, I have ADHD, to manipulate me. I was feeling like my energy and freedom was getting sucked out of me, and then on Saturday I woke up and realized everything she was doing to me. Then break up with her. And the manipulating thing, they learned that stuff as little girls. That's how it goes. Does this sound like a relationship that's worthwhile, dude? It's amazing to me what guys will put up with because they don't know any better. And this guy, again, he's young. He didn't know any better, but he's learned. But you got men in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that deal with varying dramas like this and they don't end it. They don't walk away because they don't want to be alone, or the girl's really hot, or they have this emotional connection to her, like they're trapped. They can't let her go until she kicks them to the curb. I went to meet her and broke up with her instantly. After this one meeting, I had the best feeling. Good. Get rid of this girl. She's trouble. And I bet it felt good. Finally, I have control over my life, energy, and body again. I unfollowed her on every social media channel and had 4 months to get my ass back on track until my university started. I had suffered the past 3 years, but I was finally free. Well, one can argue you suffered because you allowed yourself to suffer. You know, I know you were young, but we got to take ownership of our actions. I mean, at any time you could have broken up with her then and just said whatever. But this is how we learn, guys. I know it sounds like I'm being a little hard on the guy, but I'm being honest here. You know, we're all masters of our own destiny here. And yeah, this is a time period you got to focus on your purpose, because what you do now is going to set the course for how your life goes instead of just chasing ass. I had suffered the past 3 years, but I was finally free. Then she entered my life again. After a coincidental meeting in a bookstore in my city, Miriam followed my Twitter again and DM'd me. She had completely changed her hobbies to the same as mine. She was going to the same city school, the same city to study she thought I was going to, and was very proud of how much I changed after we broke up and when she was independent. Notice you broke up with her, which I guarantee hardly ever happened to her, so that made her all of a sudden attracted to you. It's amazing how that works. Then she asked to see me one last time, and I agreed while saying this is something non-romantic. And she agreed. Why? It didn't work out the first couple times. She made you miserable. So why do it again? We met in a cafe, and we were talking about stuff, and then we said goodbye, and I thought that was it. But no, she DM'd me some days later while I was in my Taekwondo training that she still has feelings for me and regrets everything. Again, because you broke up with her. Women hate rejection. And they could literally have a guy they're ready to break up with, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, he breaks up with her, and all of a sudden, she'll find him attractive. Isn't that interesting? She wants to try it again. I rejected her instantly. I knew this moment would come again, so I was prepared. And I said that I don't want any contact with her anymore. Good, then mean it. When you're done with her, that's it. You're done with her. Don't keep this back and forth stuff with her making you crazy. She got very angry, saying it was all my fault and I was an a-hole who loved to torment her emotionally. She reached out to you. Then I blocked her. She still tried to contact me on other platforms, but I didn't respond. I had to change my phone number and my number so she couldn't call or text me. So yeah, guys, that's my whole dating experience as a 20-year-old man with ADHD who had some good faith in women after having seen a beautiful example as his parents. Thanks to this trauma and now my ADHD, I've lost interest in dating and this stuff. I'm currently taking time for myself to heal. Also, university is very tough and I enjoy my independence, my financial and psychological freedom. Guys, keep watching. Follow the advice from good guys like SSM are trying to give and stay safe. Greetings from Germany. Well, dude, thank you for sharing your story. Now, I'm going to be honest here and say that, granted, this was one woman, okay? But this is one woman and one experience in one particular girl, okay? However, given the times, your story here is just like countless plenty of other stories I've done in varying degrees. But it goes to show you that just the idea that he had, because he didn't know any better, that he could have something like his parents had very easily, good luck. Not in today's world. It's not happening. Is it impossible? No. Are there some girls out there that have some old-fashioned type of values, so to speak? Call them unicorns, whatever you want. They're out there. It's extremely rare. Because believe me, I got plenty of women that follow me on this channel, and they write me, and they like what I do, and they hate how things are today thanks to effinism. and the whole attitude out there, and just think a lot of young gals have, let's be honest, become complete trash because of social media and all the attention they get, and it's just gone to their heads, and the times. But this is an example. And so now he's done. This experience was so bad, this on-again, off-again crap, that he's focused on himself and all that. And I say good for you. Now, down the road, if you do want to have something like your parents, obviously, the only way you're going to get that is if, obviously, you shop around, so to speak. But you know darn well, obviously, you got to be careful and do some serious screening and vetting of future girls. So if that's what you want one day, I'm going to recommend when you eventually stop being fed up and you start dating again, before you jump into any relationships with anybody, you take your time. 6 months at least you're dating and seeing what she's like before you ever even consider getting into kind of an exclusive type of relationship. All right? And then you take way a long time and find out about her values. But you want to find a chick that's a good communicator, you're similar in terms of ideas with money, who obviously is a lot of good values like yours, things like that. Maybe something like your parents, but it's going to be extremely rare. But until then, bro, I'd recommend just keep focusing on your purpose, focus on school, getting the best possible grades you can, educating yourself on so many different levels. You're in Taekwondo, that's awesome. Keep up with that. Stay at the gym working out, keep your body healthy, hang out with, make friends that are definitely good people. Be careful who you spend your time with. Make sure your friends are all people that are driven, loyal, successful guys that are going places. Avoid drugs and alcohol and all that type of stuff. You don't need it. Be healthy and just become the best you can be. Because right now, to this guy and any other young guy watching this, what you do in your teens and your early 20s is pretty much going to set the course for your life. Okay? And I'm speaking about this from experience, from being almost 44 years old. Trust me on this. So make the right choices, and chicks will come along later in life. And later on when they come, be very careful. Okay, you can be very careful in the screening process, because it's going to derail all your progress real quick. And it happens to a lot of guys, and I don't want to see it to happen to any of you guys. So, but anyhow, guys, that'd be a good one here, just showing another example why so many young guys nowadays say, so that's it, I'm done. It's just, it's not worth it anymore. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, if you have a great story you'd like to share with me, like this dude and countless others, by all means, email it to me. Be detailed in your story. Make sure it's good punctuation, paragraphs, and all that. A lot of guys send me their stories. One gigantic story, no paragraphs, no punctuation. I just can't do those. Okay, write it well. Write it the way you'd want to hear it, and I'll do it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.